race you to the water.
Why the capital?
The Nethicite. I must destroy it.
Are you sure? You don't want it for yourself? Use its power to restore Dalmasca? Something like that? The best intentions invite the worst kind of trouble.
Lusting for ever greater power. Blinded by the Nethicite. Is that how you see me?
That does sound like someone I know. He was obsessed with Nethicite. It was all he cared about.
Come over here.
He'd babble nonsense, blind to aught but the stone's power. He'd talk about some Enna, or was it Vena? No matter.
Thank you.
Everything he did to get closer to the Nethicite, to understand it. He made airships, weapons. He even made me a judge.
You were a judge?
Part of a past I'd rather forget. It didn't last long. I ran. I left the judges and him.
Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have a look at Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and then this will be a 7-star level 120 review of Balthier. And then he was from the 4th global batch of 7-star awakenings. When that came out, I immediately leveled up Noctis, Laswell, and Balthier, and then I took them through the dummy to kind of see who was the most fun, who was the most interesting. I was kind of surprised, but it turned out to be Balthier. As a character, I really like him. Final Fantasy XII is one of my favorite games in the series, and then Balthier is the coolest guy in that game. And that's kind of a cool feat, because his hair is very normal. If you look at a lot of the other male characters in Final Fantasy, they all have like crazy haircuts. Balthier has a regular guy haircut with extra sideburns. And then the reason why he's so cool, it's all just attitude. And then the fact that he hangs out with Fran all the time. I'm not really into like animal demi-human kind of things, but Fran is hot. And she has a good voice actress, and so does Balthier. A lot of the voice acting in Final Fantasy XII is really good. I don't know where they found those people, but good job, Square. But anyway, this review video might be a little bit shorter than my other reviews. It's not because Balthier is, no good. I think he's just a simpler character than a lot of the other characters out there. I would say there's really only 3 ways that you would want to build him, and there's 1 way that you would want to use him. He has next to no support abilities. We can look at that, I guess. But basically has a weapon break and a shield break, which I don't really recommend you use, because there's better stuff out there. And then there's the Siphon Shot, which is cool. The other day we had the Halloween event, where you want to drain the MP from the Nightmare boss, because that will lower the damage of a specific attack. I used Roberta's MP drain against the boss, and that was super effective. And then this would be just as effective. But those 2 things, those are basically everything Balthier has as a support character. Everything else is just about him attacking. And then the way that he functions as an attacker is like super self-contained. He can take care of himself, he can do good damage. And then he doesn't work too well with chainers, so you kind of want to use him alone. It's just the way he is. And so if that matches your playstyle, where you like to take a single character, use them as your solo damage source without worrying about chaining, then Balthier is for you. If you do not like to use finishers, and then if you don't like to use solo DPS characters, then Balthier is not for you. And then he got some global buffs, which make him quite a bit better than his JP version. I actually feel bad for JP players that are fans of Balthier, just because he is so much more usable in the global version. Kind of the big thing about his 7-star that drives people away from him is his randomness. For one thing, he has a trick shot here, and what this does is that it does one big hit, and then it imperils one of 4 different elements for very high. I think it's like 100%. That's very good imperil. But of course, you can't select which element. And so the way that people use him in JP is that they will use like an elemental gun on him, or do his self-imbue with some element, and then hope that they get that element in peril with this trick shot. Of course, that only works 1 out of 4 times, so you can't really rely on that. His second ability, which is kind of random based, is a rapid shot. This is his most damaging skill. And then it will hit between 1 and 6 times. And then if you get a higher amount of hits, it will do more damage in those later hits. So there's a lot of potential for big damage here. But of course, there's also a chance that you will get just 1 hit. I think I've said this before in previous videos, but if you're using a character with a damage skill that does random amounts of damage, you should use it assuming that you're going to get the average damage, so like 3 or maybe 4 hits. And then when you get an attack that does like 1 hit, you know that it'll be averaged out by an attack that does 6 hits. And then when Balthier, when he was going to come to global, people were saying, I hope his random value or random ability skills get buffed. They did get buffed, but not in the way that people were expecting. I think people were expecting that some of the randomness would be taken out of these abilities. But actually what got buffed was the number of turns that they take to charge up. When I heard this, I was like, they kind of missed the point there. But actually, the way that they reduce the turns, it makes the abilities work better and makes Balthier easier to use overall. The way that it works in JP is that a trick shot will come out every 4 turns, and then rapid shot will come out every 5 turns. Trick shot was halved to 2 turns. Rapid shot got -1 turn. And actually, this makes for a very easy to use rotation with these new turn cooldowns. So we can see trick shot comes out every 2 turns. So in the rotation, we want to use it on the 2nd turn. The first turn, we can do whatever. It could be a free turn. Maybe we could use a siphon shot to get rid of some of the MP from the boss. But first turn is whatever. 2nd turn is trick shot. And then after you do the trick shot, you want to pay attention to which element was imperiled. And then on the 3rd turn, you can use one of these elemental shots, fire, lightning, water, or light, based on which element was imperiled by trick shot. And then the 4th turn, that will be perfect for when rapid shot is up. So you can have the imperil on the enemy, you have the imbue on yourself, and so you're going to get a lot of extra damage with rapid shot. And then after that, on the 5th turn, you'll go back to using whatever. 2nd turn, imperil, 3rd turn, imbue, 4th turn, rapid shot again. And that's Balthier's rotation. So very easy in the global version. So yeah, I think he's just an easier character to use overall. Balthier got one other global buff, and that is double damage to his finishing blow. Finishing blow is an attack which can be unlocked if you use rapid shot, or like he can counterattack, or if he uses a killer shot. I don't think you're ever going to use killer shot. But yeah, the 2nd time you go through the rotation, after you use rapid shot on the 4th turn, you can use finishing blow on the 5th turn, and then go back to trick shot, and then self-imbue, and then rapid shot again. So yeah, that's basically it on how you want to use Balthier. Now let's talk about how to build him. And then let's look at his Trustmaster real quick. This is Arcturus, one-handed gun, and then this will unlock his Trust ability, which is the Leading Man. HP, MP, attack, and magic up by 20%, and then he gets 100% double hand, or 30% dual wield, true dual wield. So you could use it either way. So one way to build him would be to do dual wield. So I guess we'll put Arcturus in one hand, and then in the other hand, let's put another gun. We'll use automatic pistols, This will give him a dual wield, so that'll save us a slot, so we don't need to use the dual wield materia. And then, of course, we'll just use the regular other dual wield stuff. Flat attack, colorful lay. If you have Adam's TMR, you can put that on him as well. So yeah, 1700 attack with the dual wield. And then because it's equipment true dual wield, his other stuff we want to give flat attack. So like Desh's Earring, Rider's Armor, Precious Hairpin. And then if you use this, all of his skills except for his Limit Break will get double the shots. The other way to build him would be double hand, so we can get rid of automatic pistols. We'll go back to using the martial gloves. And then he's got 100% from using Arcturus, so we only need 200% from his other stuff. So we'll give him Buster style. So he's reached the limit of the true double hand, which is 300% here. And then because he's using a single-handed weapon in two hands, we can use double hand. So let's put that on him as well. That is the highest attack that I can get with him with any build, I think. Just because the trustability raises his attack as well. However, Balthier's best build is going to be with a two-handed gun, Machine Gun Plus. His attack does go down. It's kind of similar to his dual wield attack, but this is the better damaging build because the two-handed weapon has a damage modifier. Machine Gun Plus averages a 50% damage increase. This is not a buff to his attack value. This is a buff to his damage value. That is applied last, so it's pretty much like a Slayer. And then if you think about it, this is like a 50% Slayer on all class types. So this is the way that we can get the most damage out of Balthier. And then he likes the non-elemental weapons, which is why we're sticking to Machine Gun Plus or Arcturus, because he does have the self-imbue for these four elements. And so if we look at these four elements, we know that we're going to use one of those four. And then so Balthier, he's a little bit limited because he wants to use those four. If we're going to a boss who is not immune to any of these four, then we can certainly use Balthier in there. If the boss is immune to one of them, then if we use Trick Shot, there's a 25% chance that Imperil is not going to be useful to us. If that is the case and we wanted to cut the luck out of there, we could just use the Imperil from these element shots, but it won't be as high as Trick Shot. So yeah, do the research on the boss beforehand and see if he will be usable in there. Okay, let's head over to the dummy, and then I'll just show his rotation a couple times, and then hopefully we'll get a good roll, maybe 6 attacks on the rapid shot. Okay, so here we are in the dummy, and then I've equipped the Diablos Esper onto Balthier, so he gets additional Man-Eater damage on the enemy here. So first turn we can do whatever. I guess we could use the Limit Break, although the Limit Break is not too good. So it's not really worth using, it's definitely not worth leveling up. So instead we'll use Shield Break. We'll get a little bit of a break on the boss here. Okay, second turn. The Trick Shot will be unlocked, so we'll use that. Again, one big hit, and then imperils one element. Okay, 6 million is pretty good for a not a main attack. Alright, third turn. The enemy is imperiled with water, so let's imbue water on ourselves. Okay, 4 million, that's still pretty good damage. Okay, so fourth turn, now the rapid shot is unlocked. So we'll use that. The enemy is imperiled water, we are imbued with water. And then let's see how many hits we get. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, okay. 75 million, that's pretty great. And then as we saw, the damage went up every time we got a hit. So if you can get 6 hits, you can imagine how strong that would be. And actually that 165 million up there, that is with Balthier, just all by himself. No chains, no buffs or breaks, outside of that little shield break at the beginning. Alright, so now we are at the beginning of the rotation. After we use rapid shooting, finishing blow will be unlocked, so let's use that. 26 million, that's pretty good. And that is 1 rotation plus the 5th attack. So yeah, that's all there is to Balthier, basically. I would love to get more two-handed guns for him, like Jake's Super Trustmaster, Vincent's Super Trustmaster, Miss Congeniality Eileen, which just came out in JP. Any of those would be great to have for Balthier. Okay, finally, let's take Balthier to a boss, and let's see what kind of damage he can do just all by himself. And then we'll take him to Ivalice, and this is perfect because Ivalice gives us 8 turns, and then that'll be enough for 2 rotations of Balthier, and then we'll see if he's able to take down the boss with those 2 rotations. So with Mercenary Ramza, we'll AoE cover physical. With Lid, we will break the boss, and then with Balthier, he can do whatever, so we'll just guard this first turn. Okay, second turn, Trick Shot will be unlocked. And then the boss is imperiled with fire, so we'll imbue ourselves with fire the next turn. And then this boss is not immune to any of those 4 elements that Balthier has, so yeah, he can be very confident in his ability to do damage here. Alright, so now we have imbued ourselves with fire. We'll use Super Invention with Lid. I like this ability a lot. Okay, 4th turn, let's see what kind of damage we can get out of Balthier. And then we might cross a threshold, so it might be a good idea to break the attack and magic of the boss. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3 hits, that is the average. And then we took away half of the boss's life. So maybe if we got the 6 hits, we would have been able just to one-punch the boss. Actually, I'm sure that we would have been able to do that because of the increasing damage per hit. So there was the finishing blow, which is unlocked by the rapid shooting. That was 14% damage there, so pretty good. Okay, one more time we'll go through the rotation. We'll use a Trick Shot again. This might get the same element as before, it might get a new element. We'll check the boss, looks like light. So next turn, let's imbue ourselves with light, just in case that fire imperil wears off. Okay, imbue with light. Nice damage there as well. So yeah, if we get a decent roll on this one, as far as like number of hits from Balthier, we'll definitely take down the boss. But we can see that you know, if we got like 1 hit on each of the attacks from rapid shooting, maybe we wouldn't be able to take down the boss. So that is a risk. But yeah, let's see how many hits we get here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, looks like he was ready for 4, but the boss went down, so... Okay, so that was a look at Balthier. Again, he is good as a solo DPS. That is just kind of totally independent of anybody else. If that matches your playstyle, I think you could have a lot of fun with him. And then I recommend getting the Machine Gun Plus for him, if you can. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.